a lot has happened, but also a lot will happen. And I don't think I'm going to get time through everything. So I just want to sort of focus on what you touched upon last week with Mariano Rivera and his Hall of Fameness. Before I get into it, you said he deserved to get in because he was the best at his position. And I want to talk about how the closer sort of got to be where it is. And I think that's where some people might have had the problem and might still have a problem. Yes, he is the first unanimous, so obviously the voters must not have had a problem with him being a reliever. I think it has to do with something much more important, and that is this magnet here. So I'm going to go and put this over here. Good enough. Anyway, so basically, Mariano Rivera only was a closer because he was basically a failed starter. And should we hold that against him, that he only really pitched one inning? Well, let's think of David Ortiz, who's coming up in a couple of years for the Hall of Fame. One hell of a hitter, pretty good leader, won, 3 World Series with the Red Sox? I'd put him in the Hall of Fame, but would you penalize him for not playing defense? Some people might say that, but I think he was good enough of a hitter. And Rivera, I mean, everyone knew he was throwing his cutter, and they still couldn't hit it. They tried swinging early, tried swinging late, trying on time. They just couldn't do it. And I think that's where you're right. He was the best at his position. He did what he needed to do. Was he a failed starter? Yeah, that's how basically all relievers are. Kids don't grow up thinking, hey, I want to go and become the best relief pitcher of all time. No, that's not what happens. How we look at the closer has definitely changed over these last few years. The way the bullpen works is so important right now. And we saw it with the Tampa Bay Rays last year with their opener. Like, if you take a guy like Clayton Kershaw or even Justin Verlander, those two guys are not going to want to be open for being told, hey, you're going to pitch today, but you're going to go in the second inning so you get some ease. No, these guys are going to tell you, piss off, I'm going to start. I'm going to take the first inning. There's a video, I'll link it down below, where it talked about Justin Verlander, how pretty much of an amazing pitcher he is. Back in 2011-ish, 2013, whatever it was, watch the video for reference. He was in the 8th inning, thrown already 100 pitches. On 9 of his 11 pitches, he topped 100 miles an hour. That is pretty damn impressive. And if you were to take seriously, watch the video. It's a great watch. And basically, it was showing how much effort Verlander was going into this inning. The 8th inning, after pitching 8 innings, and he was still throwing this heat. Imagine if someone at Verlander's capabilities was just pitching 1 inning. He would clearly be Mariano Rivera. He would beat him. We need starters. We need people to go more than 1, 2, 3 innings. And I'm still a little conflicted and torn. I guess I feel like I'm upset. I mean, I'm a Yankee fan. Don't get me wrong. I definitely would want Rivera to be in there as a unanimous Hall of Famer, but at the same time, he was the first. I don't know. I think definitely Babe Ruth probably should have been unanimous. Ty Cobb, Nolan Ryan was pretty decent. I feel like it's just wrong that he was the first one. But I'm glad someone finally broke that barrier, and I'm glad it's a Yankee. That's my 2 cents on that. Also, basketball is completely nuts right now. I'm pulling out my hair, trying to figure out who's going to get traded and what dominoes are going to fall for next year, because it is really, really stressful between Kyrie, Durant, Anthony Davis. I mean, it's just nuts of what might happen. The Celtics look like they're destined for 5 titles in the next 10 years if they can get everything working together, but they might just literally lose everything by the end of next year. And I'm not excited for that, I'm afraid. I will see you next week.